on my page, I shared a video about how like toxic purity culture is, and how like in church and Bible college, I was like the poster child for purity culture, where I would share my testimony as me being this like rebellious teen hanging around older guys, until like God changed me, and that's how it was happening. And it's like at dozens of churches I shared my testimony in, and I always said, starting when I was 13, I would I was with guys that were 18, with a guy that was 18, and so on. And it was like my testimony was like praised as me turning it around, when really there should have been an adult that pulled me aside and said like, Sam, no, that's not your story. Like, that's not your story. You were abused and groomed, and you formed a trauma bond, and we need to make sure you have the help that you need to work through it. But instead, I was just kind of like re-traumatized over and over again every time I shared that story. And it's like I always put blame on myself. It was always like, that was always my sinful side. It's like there's so many different complex feelings, because I feel like at every turn in my life, there were adults that could have stepped in and said something, and should have. I'm 39, I know better. I know that if I heard a girl tell her the story that I told, that I would be pulling her aside and being like, no, this is not okay. This was not your story. We need you, we're not gonna have you continue to tell that, because that's not what your story is. It's like the story of a bad girl turning to Jesus and marrying the Christian boy, and that's going to school to be a pastor. That was so praised, and it's just re-traumatizing me every time. Except every time I was blaming myself. Every time I told that story, I blamed myself for my sin, for my rebellion to God, for my promiscuity. It makes me so fucking mad. Or how do you not at least ask more questions, how do you hear a girl stand up and talk about being promiscuous starting at 13 years old and dating guys that were 5 years older than her, that was 18? How do you not pull her aside and then ask more questions? How do you not say, what do you mean by date? What do you mean by promiscuous? What exactly happened? How do you... Like, I want to go to my 13-year-old self and hug her and be like, it's not your fault. Like, be like, Sam, somebody should have been looking out for you, and like somebody should have made you the priority and let you know like what was and wasn't okay. But they didn't. And so it's just like seeing that, I feel like the pain from like all that experience, because now I'm feeling 13-year-old Sam's pain and like the reality of what then the next 5 years looked like after that too. And then at the same time, like, I am so angry and full of rage because I'm like, you motherfucker.